What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports and Match you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my top 25 2020 NFL free agents as we near NFL free agency. So before I get into it, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos, college football videos, and XFL videos daily. Now, here are my first 10 players of my top 25 NFL free agents. At number 1, I have Tom Brady. Now, listen, I think Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the free agent market. I think he's better than Dak Prescott. I think he's better than Ryan Tannehill. He's better than Phillip Rivers, Jameis Winston. Now, a lot of people are probably going to disagree with that because of his age, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, he didn't have that good of a year last season for the New England Patriots. But when you go back and watch the New England Patriots last season, the New England Patriots didn't really have that good of an offense. They didn't really have a lot of weapons to work with. And the only two receivers he really had to throw to was Julian Edelman and James White, who was a halfback. So Tom Brady, when you think of it and you go back and watch the Patriots, he really carried the New England Patriots on his back. And that's something that you don't really see out of a guy his age. The guy's like 40-something years old, and he still has the ability to carry a franchise on his back. Because if Tom Brady didn't play for the Patriots last season, I don't think they would have made the playoffs. So Tom Brady really carried the New England Patriots on his back in 2019. I think he is the best NFL free agent, in my opinion. At number 2, I have Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott is, in my opinion, probably going to end up getting a franchise tag by the Dallas Cowboys if they're not able to come to a long-term agreement. But Dak Prescott probably would be the second best quarterback in a lot of people's eyes. He's the second best quarterback in my opinion. Despite what people say about Dak Prescott not being an elite quarterback, he's still a pretty good quarterback at best. And if he does end up hitting the NFL free agent market, I think the market is going to be pretty high for him, and I think he's going to end up becoming the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. At number 3, I have Jadeveon Clowney. Now, Jadeveon Clowney is the best defensive player hitting the NFL free agency market. Now, I know a lot of people are really concerned about Jadeveon Clowney's injury history. He also didn't really have that good of a season for the Seattle Seahawks if you're a big stats guy. But other than the stats, Jadeveon Clowney had a really big impact for the Seattle Seahawks last season. Go back and watch that Philadelphia Eagles wildcard game. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney, I don't believe he was 100%, but even then, he was still wreaking havoc on the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. Now, I mean, this guy, Jadeveon Clowney, when he's fully healthy, this guy is a game changer. He's one of the best all-around defensive players that we have. He's not just a great pass rusher. He also is pretty good at stopping the run. He also can force turnovers as well. Last year for Seattle, he had 4 forced fumbles. And I mean, stats don't tell how good Jadeveon Clowney was for the Seattle Seahawks last season. So I think Jadeveon Clowney is the best defensive player in the NFL free agency. At number 4, I have Arik Armstead. Now, Arik Armstead is somebody that a lot of people aren't really talking about. He had a really good season for the 49ers as well, and the 49ers really need to put a big emphasis on trying to bring him back as well because he was a big piece in that pass rushing core that they had last season with Bosa, him, and D Ford. So I think it's really imperative that the 49ers attempt to bring him back, and if they're not able to bring him back, then Arik Armstead is probably, I consider him in the same group of Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, this guy is a very good edge rusher as well. I think he can play the 4-3, 3-4. He can fit any system in the NFL. So I think he's going to be, I think the market for Arik Armstead is going to be pretty high. I have him at number 4. At number 5, I have another edge rusher. This is the third straight edge rusher on this list. I have Shaquille Barrett. Now, Shaquille Barrett had an outstanding year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's the 5th best edge rusher. He's most likely going to end up getting franchise tagged by the Bucs if they're not able to come to a long-term extension. At number 6, I have halfback Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry was the biggest reason why the Tennessee Titans went to the playoffs last season. He was the heart and soul of that Tennessee Titans team, and he also played a big role in the Tennessee Titans Cinderella playoff run last season in 2019. So, Derrick Henry most likely is going to end up being with the Tennessee Titans next season because they're probably going to end up franchise tagging him. But if he does hit free agency, he's going to get a big payday. And in my opinion, he is the 6th best NFL free agent on my list. At number 7, I have Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is the best wide receiver hitting free agency. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be able to lock him up long term. So if the Dallas Cowboys do resign him, it'll probably end up being a free agency. And some team's going to end up paying a footload of money to Amari Cooper. I mean, Amari Cooper the last couple of seasons had a career resurgence with the Dallas Cowboys. For the Oakland Raiders, he was a little bit inconsistent. But with the Dallas Cowboys, all this dude has done is made plays. And he has consistently showed up on a weekend basis for the Dallas Cowboys. At number 8, I have another fellow Dallas Cowboy. I have Byron Jones. Byron Jones is one of the best cornerbacks that we have hitting the free agent market. And this free agent market is really loaded when you look at the cornerback position. There's a lot of good cornerbacks in the free agent market. And I think Byron Jones is pretty much the best. I mean, this dude is an athletic freak. Listen, Byron Jones is going to end up becoming the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. I mean, this dude is an exceptional man-to-man cornerback. He's also a pretty good zone cornerback as well, but I think he's a really good man-to-man corner as well. I think Byron Jones is the best cornerback in NFL free agency, and he's probably a top 5 cornerback in the NFL at this point. At number 9, we had Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is the best safety hitting NFL free agency. Now, it is to be decided if the Denver Broncos would use the franchise tag on Justin Simmons, but if not, he's going to be the best safety to hit NFL free agency. And at number 10, I have Everson Griffin. Now, Everson Griffin opted out of his player option that he had with the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people believe that he probably will end up returning to the Minnesota Vikings. He's just doing it so he can renegotiate his contract to help the Minnesota Vikings out with their cap situation. But I don't really believe that much. I think if a team does offer Everson Griffin a pretty good amount, I think he will end up leaving the Minnesota Vikings and playing for a different team. And Everson Griffin has been one of the most consistent pass rushers in the NFL. I mean, this is a guy who can steady put up 7-8 sack seasons on a year in and year out basis. He's not one of those guys that dips off in production year in and year out that ends up having a big season when he has 10 sacks and then the next season he fades off. No, this guy is one of the most consistent pass rushers that we have in the NFL. He is my 10th best free agent. Before I get into my next group, make sure that if you haven't already that you like the video and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos, college football videos, and XFL videos daily. At number 11, I have offensive guard Brandon Sheriff. Now, Brandon Sheriff is the best offensive lineman hitting the NFL free agency, and Brandon Sheriff is one of the best young offensive linemen that we have in the NFL. He's 26 years old, so he has a lot of good football left in the tank, and I have a number 11 on my list. At number 12, I have Chris Harris Jr. Now, Chris Harris Jr. is the most underrated cornerback in the NFL. I mean, this guy, at one point in his career, went 2 seasons without allowing a single touchdown. This dude is a definition of a true lockdown cornerback in the NFL, and it's really odd that the Denver Broncos haven't found a way to give this guy a long-term extension for some reason. I mean, this guy is sensational. At number 13, we have Anthony Harris. Now, Anthony Harris is another underrated NFL free agent hitting the free agency market that a lot of people are now starting to take notice of. This guy is really good. I mean, this guy had a really good season with the Minnesota Vikings last year, and he's most definitely going to end up leaving the Minnesota Vikings because they're not going to have enough cap space to retain him. So Anthony Harris, man, I think this is the best safety hit or the second best safety hit in the NFL free agency market, and also he's really young as well. At number 14, I have offensive guard Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney was the best offensive lineman for the New England Patriots. He's a big, tough, gritty player, and a lot of teams are really going to be looking for getting a guy in Joe Thuney to improve their offensive line. At number 15, I have edge rusher Matt Judon. Now, Matt Judon played for the Baltimore Ravens. He was really solid, really trying to figure out why the Baltimore Ravens weren't able to retain him or anything like that, but he's another guy who's going to be having a pretty good market for him in NFL free agency. Now, he's not going to get paid like Jadeveon Clowney, but he's going to have a pretty big market. At number 16, I have Teddy Bridgewater. Now, Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with having him this high, but I think Teddy Bridgewater is a good starting caliber quarterback. Now, he's not one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL or anything like that, but what Teddy Bridgewater does is he wins games. Every time he becomes a starting quarterback, when he was a starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, He won games. He led them to the playoffs. And when he was a starting quarterback for 5 games, when Drew Brees went down with an injury, he was 5-0. He didn't lose a single game. So Teddy Bridgewater wins games. A lot of people say that he doesn't take a lot of shots deep, but he also doesn't turn the football over also, which is also another big key to winning games as well. At number 17, I have tight end Austin Hooper. Now, I think Austin Hooper is the best tight end hitting NFL free agency. And Austin Hooper, he's not a guy who's going to make a lot of big plays when it comes to breaking off big runs and things like that, but he has reliable hands. He reminds me a lot of Heath Miller for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is a guy who you can look to throw to on third down. He can end up being a good safety blanket for you. And I think Austin Hooper is the best tight end hitting free agency. At number 18, I have Jack Conklin. Now, Jack Conklin is my favorite offensive lineman in the NFL. This dude is mean. He's nasty. He's gritty. He is the best run blocking offensive tackle in the NFL today. So it's very hard to find very good offensive tackles in the NFL. So Jack Conklin is going to have a huge market for him. Half the NFL is going to be interested in Jack Conklin. At number 19, I have James Bradberry. Now, James Bradberry has been a guy who hasn't really garnered a lot of attention because he's been playing for the Carolina Panthers, but go watch the film on James Bradberry. This guy is very good, had a very good season for the Carolina Panthers last year. He's going to demand a pretty good salary as well. At number 20, I have Corey Littleton. Now, Corey Littleton is the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. He can cover tight ends, he can cover slot receivers, so the market's going to be very big for him as well. I have him at number 20. Now, to round off my list, the last 5 guys I have at number 21, I have offensive tackle Anthony Costanzo. Now, Anthony Costanzo could be a little bit higher up on this list, but he is in his 30s, so that's probably going to scare teams a little bit off, and that kind of what scared me a little bit off from having him a little bit higher. But Anthony Costanzo, is a very good offensive tackle. He's one of the best offensive tackles that we have in the game. The only reason why he's not a little bit higher is because of his age. At number 22, I have halfback Melvin Gordon. Now, Melvin Gordon is the best running back kid in the NFL free agency, but he's going to be asking for a lot, and I don't think he's going to get the market value that he's hoping to get. And to be honest, I think he might end up regretting not accepting the contract extension that the LA Chargers tried to give him. So I think Melvin Gordon is the 22nd best NFL free agent. At number 23, I had Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward is another underrated guy that a lot of people aren't really talking about. Jimmy Ward played a big part in the 49ers defense last season, helping them get to the Super Bowl last year. So I think Jimmy Ward is the 23rd best free agent. At number 24 and 25, I have Bud Dupree and Javon Hargrave. Now, Bud Dupree is an interesting free agent. And here's why. Because Bud Dupree is a guy that is only having 1 year of elite production as elite defensive player. He can stop the run. He can be a game changer. He's also very good getting after the quarterback as well. But Bud Dupree, just 1 year consistency. So basically, whatever he gets paid in free agent is basically based on what he did in 2019. And I have questions if he can keep up that success. And Javon Hargrave is really underrated as well. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I was a very big fan of Javon Hargrave. He's a very good run stopper. He is now starting to improve as a pass rusher as well. So Javon Hargrave is the 25th best free agent in my opinion. This rounds out my list of the top 25 2020 NFL free agents. Let me know what you guys think about my list down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure that you like the video and subscribe for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.